The Vario Digital FHD foldable desktop video magnifier from Eschenbach. In the box comes two items. First is the Vario Digital FHD itself. It's got a handle on there so you can transport it. And a box. It has different components. Let's take a look at it. In the box has a user manual, power cord, which we'll take out, different adapters for different countries. We'll take the one for North America, and a USB cable that I'll show you how to use later on. Put this away. And now let's plug in the Vario Digital FHD. We'll take the adapter, we'll plug that into the power plug first. And that goes like this. And we'll plug it in. And on the other end, go to the back of the Vario Digital FHD. And it goes in right here. So to use the Vario Digital FHD, it's very simple. You just lift up the monitor, lift up the lens cover, fold the camera down. The power button is the center button right there. I get some reading material, I'll put that under the camera. And to use the Vario Digital, there's really some very simple buttons to use on the front. The far right is magnification. It goes from 1.3x up to 45 times magnification. And actually at its lowest magnification, 1.3x, you can see a whole newspaper. Now you can move the newspaper down if you want, or you can actually just tilt the camera back, like so, and then you can see the top page. So actually you don't need to move the paper at all. You can just tilt the camera forward to see the top of the page, and then back to its center mode to see the bottom page. Now if you want, you can also tilt the camera a little bit forward too. And that allows you to do some hands-free tasks. So if you're sewing, or you're changing batteries on a product, or tying fishing flies, you can do things under the camera like this that are hands-free. So the camera moves in many different directions to accommodate different tasks. All right, let's move it back to the center mode. On the dial that changes the magnification, you can actually press it, and that goes into overview mode. If you press that button, it'll zoom out to the lowest magnification. It allows you to orient yourself on the page. Maybe you want to see this article over here. Then I press that button again. It remembers the magnification level I had on before. On the far side, this dial changes the contrast, so you can change from color mode, which is what we're in now, to high contrast, reverse, and any assortment of 14 different color combinations that you can change. And next to it is a red line button, and that just activates the underline feature. If you want to use that, it helps you stay on track. There's also the ability to use the photo button, and that takes a freeze frame. And then you can actually change the magnification of that saved image, or change the contrast of that saved image too. And then just press the camera button to get back out again. And that's the basic operation of the Vario Digital FHD. Now let's jump into the advanced level menu. Okay, now if you want to access the more advanced level features, you go to the menu button.
Main menu.
And there's an auditory prompt. And what you can do to go from icon to icon is either use the right dial,
Photo album, short manual,
or the left dial,
volume,
or you can use buttons that are on the side of the monitor. So actually on the side are blue buttons here that you can use to tab through the icons. The buttons are on the right and the left side. I prefer the left dial because that actually is the dial that you use to press the blue button to activate. So let's go to the first icon here, and we'll talk about the photo album. So this is where the images are stored where you press that camera button. And there's one image that's stored as a favorite, and this is the favorite. And you can change the favorite by
Next.
just selecting the heart,
Select favorite.
and you can
Next.
go to next image just by tapping on it. When you see an image that you want to see again, then you just press this button on the right hand side, and that brings it into full screen mode. And again, you can increase the magnification, change the contrast, etc. To get out of this full screen mode, just press that button on the right again, and you're back into the photo album. You can delete images there. All the images are actually stored on an SD card, which is actually on the camera, right here. You can pop out that SD card and look at things on your computer if you want. You can also plug in, and this is what the cable was that I checked out before, USB cable, that you can plug into your computer and look at the stored images directly as well. Okay, to get out of the menu wherever you are, you can either scroll to the option where it says previous menu, or you can actually press the button menu and that jumps you back out to the live mode. Okay, so let's jump back into that menu and let's go to the second icon.
Main menu. Photo album. Short manual.
Which is the short manual, and that's basically the user manual. So the user manual is available in 14 different languages. English is selected for now. You can just advance each page like that to get answers to questions you might have.
Language. Lead menu. Short manual. Volume.
The next icon is volume, and you can select from
Muted.
through
Very low. Low. Medium. High.
up through high. We'll keep it on high.
Audio feedback.
The next is the language, and you can choose between 5 different languages here. English,
Deutsch.
German,
Français.
French,
Italiano.
Italian,
Espagnol.
and Spanish. Or tones, there's 2 different ones.
English.
The next
Date and
icon
time.
is the date and time, and you can see I've already got it set, but that's where it shows up. So when you set the date and time, it always shows at the top of the menu. When you select that, that's where you can change and move up and down the hours, minutes, month, day, year, and hour format.
Down. Next entry. Lead menu. Date and time. Reading support.
The next option is reading support, and that's where you can change the settings for that red underline button. So we have it set for underline, but you can move that up on the screen
Down.
or down. You can also
Orientation.
change the orientation. So as we are now looking at a newspaper, we can change that. So that way I know to always stop here when I'm reading my columns of newspaper. And you can move that again left or right.
Down. Orientation.
You can also
Horizontal.
use, instead of a red underline, a different type.
Bar.
And that's the lines, or blinds feature, I should say.
Orientation. Down.
And that's where you can change its width.
Orientation. Up. Down.
I'll go back to
Orientation.
the red
Line.
underline because I like that better.
Lead menu. Reading support. Maximum zoom.
The next option is maximum zoom. So if you wanted to, although the Vario Digital FHD does go up to 45 times magnification,
5.
you may
times,
decide that the
times,
most you ever need really is
seconds.
16 times magnification. So now it stops at 16 times magnification.
45. Lead menu. Maximum zoom. False colors.
Next option is false colors, and that's where you can choose from among 14 different color combinations. I just chose the first top 4, but if we wanted to add
Black
another
white.
one,
Black yellow.
let's choose the purple
Yellow
one.
blue. Black violet. On.
Now it's on. So I'll jump out of the menu again by pressing the menu button. And now when I scroll through the different color combinations, purple will show up as an option. And there it is.
Main menu. Photo album. Audio feedback. False colors. Lighting.
The next option is lighting. So the Vario Digital FHD uses LED lighting, and you can change
Light
its
off.
brightness and turn all the lights off
Selected. Half brightness. Selected.
Half.
Full brightness.
for
Selected.
full brightness. There are also 2
Extra light. Off.
lights that are right behind the monitor. So you can turn those 2 off if you didn't want to.
Off. On.
I usually have them on because it provides nice uniform lighting.
Lead menu. Lighting. Display brightness.
Display brightness, this is where you can change the brightness from 100%, 75 to 50%.
50%. 100%. Lead menu. Display brightness. Photo button.
Photo button. So there's actually a way to turn off this photo button if you didn't want to ever have that used. So by
Off.
selecting that, now that is off, and so if I went back to looking at a screen and try to take a picture of it, it wouldn't work. So if I go back to the main screen here, let's just say I'm looking at this text, and I want to do a freeze frame on it, it's going to give me a message that says, nope, you don't have that activated. So I can turn that freeze frame option off. Jump back into the menu.
Main menu. Photo album. Date and
Scroll
time.
down there.
False colors. Photo button. On.
Turn that back on again.
Overview.
The same thing can be set for the right knob as well. We can turn that off so that the overview button doesn't work.
Off.
So that can be turned off.
On. Standby.
The next icon is standby. So this device will turn off after 8 hours of non-use or
15 minutes.
15 minutes. You can select whichever you like.
8 hours. Update.
And if there's ever a software update in the future, that's how you would do that in this option.
Leave menu.
So those are the menu items available through the menu button. But there are a couple of shortcuts I want to show you as well. One is if you press and hold that camera button, you actually get right into the photo album directly. And there we are. The other thing you can do is this button has the red line on it. If you press and hold that, that'll let you scroll through the brightness settings. Again, rather than going into the menu. And the last one to use and press and hold is the far right one. So the Vario Digital FHD actually has an autofocus camera, but you can turn that off when you're going to be doing tasks like writing, where you always want the camera focused on the page. So what you do is you actually press and hold this button, and you can see autofocus is now off. So now I can get some writing material here, and I can actually write under there. And the camera's always focused on the text and the paper, never on my hand, always on the page. To turn that back on again, press and hold, and autofocus is back on again. So those are the main features of the Vario Digital FHD. When you're done, all you do is press the power
Switching
button,
off.
and then fold the monitor back under, tilt the camera back, and cover up the lens with the lens cap.